Hi everyone, my name is Christiana and thank you for coming back to my digital journal of my journey with Hashimoto's and hypothyroidism. I thought I would start this video, if you haven't seen my last, I kind of explained what Hashimoto's and hypothyroidism means to me and my journey with it. And I thought I would start today and in this video with kind of like my baseline of my symptoms and the book and protocol that I'm actually working through right now to help me figure out what has triggered my Hashimoto's and how I can live a more successful life with Hashimoto's and hypothyroidism. First, I want to say that this is truly just my experience and my journey that I wanted to share with everyone and create a community with people who have Hashimoto's or hypothyroidism, because when I looked around on Instagram and on YouTube, I couldn't find anyone that was really talking about it and how they were living with it. So I thought, because I'm kind of going through some different steps and different lifestyle changes, I would share that, and maybe there are other people out there that are doing the same thing or that might have questions so that we can do this together. So let's start with my personal symptoms of Hashimoto's and hypothyroidism. These were kind of hard to figure out because, like I said in my last video, I believe I've been living with this for about 7 to 8, 9 years. And so these are things that I had to learn were actually symptoms and not just what I was like. So the big ones that I think are symptoms of Hashimoto's are undiagnosed anxiety. I do get anxious in different situations. I have a hard time losing weight. I can sleep for a very long time, and I tend to be more lethargic than the people around me. Especially, this was something that my family, when I was living at home, noticed. I can get tired very easily. I'm always tired or want to sleep more, sleep longer, even past my adolescent years. So those were kind of the big symptoms that I've recently found out are symptoms of Hashimoto's, and that's kind of what I'm dealing with and figuring out right now. So what I'm doing right now is I am working through and reading a book called Hashimoto's Protocol by Isabella Wentz. This is the book right here. I'll also link it down below. Isabella Wentz is a licensed pharmacist and also has Hashimoto's. So she's tested on herself, and she has like a Facebook group of Hashimoto's folks, that she has created this protocol for and with, and that's what I'm working through right now. I'm reading straight from the book. It's a 3-step protocol. It's liver support, adrenal recovery, and gut balance. So I'm in liver support right now. I'm in the first step, which is the liver support, and the second week. And basically she starts this off by having us check off from a list that she's included, a list of all of the symptoms that you could have from Hashimoto's. And mine were anxiety, lethargy, bags or dark circles under my eyes, bloating, brain fog, some low depression, difficulty making decisions, a hard time losing weight, fatigue, weakness, hay fever, which I've just always had, so I didn't know that could have been a symptom. Who knew? Headaches, I do get headaches or tiny migraines a lot. Let's see, poor concentration, poor memory. There's a bunch, but those are some of the ones that I had, and she kind of checks those off and you count them up and you see basically if you are at what she has, severe toxicity in your liver or optimal toxicity. Now, if you're doing this, you probably don't have optimal toxicity. I think it was 3 or less of those symptoms were optimal. So we have a long way to go. Now, to start this liver support, you have to take away a lot of food. That was really hard for me. And it still is 2 weeks or a week and a half in. The main food groups that you have to take away are gluten, soy, sugar, caffeine, and alcohol. Alcohol and caffeine were not that bad. I did have to like wean myself off of caffeine, which she says you need to do. I was only having 1 cup of coffee a day, but you still need the couple sips to wean you off of it. Sugar hasn't been that bad. I used to be a pretty big like candy eater every once in a while. I guess we'll see what happens when I start craving things around like my period and stuff. The 2 big ones that were hard and that I'm not gonna lie to you, I might have cried over were gluten. That was the one that I pretty much cried over, and soy. Because soy's in everything, as we all know. We've all seen the like funny jokes about how soy is in everything. And gluten was a big one, was because I love bread and I love pasta and I love baked goods. So those were the 2 hard ones. Now, I started cutting them out, like I said, about a week and a half ago, and it was hard at first. I have a journal on my iPad where I'm kind of keeping track of each week and how I feel, and if there's something specific on a certain day, then I write that down because I have been told that it's good to keep track, and that's also why I'm doing this here. A big one is to see how my body changes. Now, I know when you take gluten out, your body's gonna change because, hey, we're not eating gluten anymore, so there aren't as many carbs. So, I think there's gonna be kind of like an ebb and flow of what my body looks like and stuff like that. So that's also why I'm doing this on video, so that I'm not just taking down like my thoughts and feelings, but I'm also seeing how my body reacts to it visually. But it's more just to see what happens, and maybe I won't think I feel different, but maybe I'll look different. I won't get as bloated, stuff like that. Anyways, so getting into the first week. The first week, like I said, was very hard, and I was still drinking caffeine, maybe like a 1/4 of a cup every day. I went grocery shopping and got rid of all of the food that I couldn't have that was in my kitchen that was either gonna go bad over the next 3 months, and I gave that to my sister who lives near me, so that was an easy just like get it out of sight, out of mind. I do still have some things in my freezer that if I can eat them after all of this, I will have them because they're in the freezer, and if not, I will give them away then. So I did that. I went grocery shopping with the intent of filling my kitchen with things that I can actually eat so that I'm not tempted to eat the things that I can't. And that was difficult going grocery shopping because I am a habit former when it comes to certain tasks. So grocery shopping, I have the way that I go through the grocery store, especially here in New York City, where it gets very busy in the grocery store. So I have like my certain way of grocery shopping, and I had to kind of change that up this time and obviously not grab the loaf of bread that I usually get and some other things that I'm tempted to grab. So for food, I did some Pinterest research. I usually get all of my recipes and like inspiration from Pinterest, and I quickly found that the diet Whole30 is very similar to this step of the liver support, where you're taking away a bunch of food and then reintroducing it. This, I won't be reintroducing it as quickly, but there are some really great recipes on Pinterest around Whole30, and I started using those. So I have found, I found 2 recipes that I really liked that included chicken and vegetables. And then I also made some lettuce wraps that were really good and chia pudding. So I'll put the 2 recipes that I found in the links below. They're really good. They were more like Asian inspired recipes because that's kind of how I tend to like to cook, is more like soy sauce and veggies and stuff like that. The big thing with that difference is that you're using coconut aminos instead of soy sauce. That isn't really that big of a deal actually. It pretty much tastes the same, which I mean is great. And then just a massive influx of vegetables, which I was honestly not getting. One of the snacks that I love, and I think I'm gonna have to kind of really take a step back, is popcorn. I absolutely love popcorn. Couldn't tell you why. It's a great snack, and I used to make it with butter. Now I make it with coconut oil because I'm taking butter out because it is a dairy. And I don't know technically if it's something that I really should be eating. I'm trying to not eat it a lot. But if it's more of like a comfort snack to me, and rice is not gluten and salt is fine. So that's kind of what that's kind of like my, not cheat, but the snack that I really, really love. And if I can have at least that with coconut oil and salt, that'll help me like kind of move through this a little faster. I'm trying not to eat as much of it because I know it is like, there's no nutritional value in it, but sometimes you just need a crunchy snack. And there was a snack that I was getting at Trader Joe's that I had unfortunately recently found that I really loved that has soy. They were rice snacks, but they had soy sauce on them. So I'm doing popcorn right now. We'll see how it goes. Now for how I'm feeling a week and a half into this. I haven't felt much of a change, to be honest. There have been some like gut things that have changed a little bit that are better. I might feel a little less anxious and a little less tired, but I really can't know that a week and a half in because, you know, work changes and lifestyle and like outside things change that also make me anxious and tired. So it might be because of this, it might not be, but I am not as anxious, not as tired. So I'm just kind of more aware of how my body is feeling and not looking too much into it, giving everything a grain of salt because it's only been a week and a half. I am definitely eating a lot more vegetables and maybe it's feeling good. Definitely getting a lot more fiber, which could be good and not so good. So yeah, I'm feeling good. I think in the next video, what I'll do is I will share kind of like what my daily food looks like, because that is a big one for the next 3 months doing this protocol. The first 2 weeks is just taking out all of those foods, but it's continuing it through the 3 months of this protocol. It's my understanding. So I do want to share what I'm eating and how I make it, stuff like that, because that was one of the biggest concerns I had was, how do I make food? What do I make? And what do I have for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? So let me know if this was helpful. I know these first 2 videos are very me talking to the camera and rambly, but that's kind of like what I'm good at, and it's a lot of information in the beginning, but like I said, I will share my meals the next time and hopefully that will be helpful. Or if you have any fun recipes or anything, I'll try them out and share them in the next video. Thanks. See you next time. Bye.